Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews, an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 15 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Well, we're meeting with Rick Porter, president and founder of Cinch I.T. Cinch I.T., a franchise computer support company, presents businesses of all sizes an alternative to hiring their own IT staff while providing customized quality support. We're going to talk to Rick about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. Stick around because we have a great show.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach. Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system. Coach. Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed. Consult. Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track. And advise. Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032. That's franchiseteacher.com. Or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 15 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. Well, we're meeting with Rick Porter, president and founder of Cinch I.T. Cinch I.T., a franchise computer support company, presents businesses of all sizes an alternative to hiring their own IT staff while providing customized quality support. Hi, Rick. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well, Marty. Thanks for having me on.
This is my pleasure, Rick. Happy New Year to you. And we always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Rick?
I'm calling from Worcester, Massachusetts, about 45 minutes outside of Boston.
Oh, nice. Are you guys getting snow up there yet, Rick?
We have had snow, but right now
okay.
We are nothing on the ground now. So
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, I'm not that far off from you. I'm in Easton, Pennsylvania, and it looks like it's going to snow here today. So no stranger to the winter. But as we were saying earlier, it was great to have you on the show today, Rick. I always thought that we started the show 15 years ago because there's a story behind every business, and I thought maybe we could start off with like the history of Cinch I.T. Like, how did you come up with the concept?
Yeah, sure. By complete and utter accident. In 2004, some of the best happen that way.
Yeah.
But in 2004, we actually had some friends and families members that were business owners, and they were having trouble with their technology, right? They just didn't understand how it worked, how it integrated, and honestly, they didn't understand even what they were paying for. And so they asked us to come in and just kind of help simplify everything. And so that's what we did. We went in, we simplified everything, and then the strangest thing actually happened. They sent us a check and they paid us. And so these us self-proclaimed nerds were a business all of a sudden overnight. And to this day, that's what we do, is we help businesses simplify their technology. Essentially, we make it a cinch. And we've hired some great people over the years and that have really propelled our growth and brought us to where we are today.
It's a great story, Rick. And I think, that is the key to your business, right? Because I think, all of us have been in that situation before, where somebody comes to your home and then they try to, fix a computer problem, but they don't simplify what they're actually doing, and they'll explain something to you and you just don't get it, and that's, of course, where the name comes in, Cinch IT. I think it's fantastic. And, it's, what you do is really, it's a necessity for everyone, isn't it, Rick? We had we were having some internet issues about a month ago, and I tell you, I just felt like I was missing my left and right arm because it's your life, isn't it? I mean, so many people, particularly in today's environment, are connected or dependent on the internet, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's the lifeblood of your organization, and more importantly, nowadays, it's what is gives businesses a competitive advantage as well.
How did COVID play a role with Cinch IT? I hate to use it as a word, the word opportunity, Rick, but I imagine that there's been a shift in the workplace today. There are more people, of course, working from home. So how did you deal with the whole COVID situation?
Like you said, it's. You never want to say, it was a good opportunity, but we were positioned to be in the right industry, certainly, because when this global pandemic hit and everybody had to transition to this work from home environment, we found two things happen. One, our existing customers who already followed our consulting and put the solutions that we recommended into place, they were able to transition very easily. I mean, within a matter of an hour, they were able to work from home. And then the second thing that happened is those that we weren't already working with and that didn't have the solutions that we recommended, they started to come to us and say, how can I make this transition? How can I make sure that my people can work from home and still communicate and still get the job done? And so we were busier than we've ever been in the history of the company. Wow. Our help desk saw 3 times the amount of volume. And, I got to say, we feel blessed just to be busy when so many people unfortunately weren't.
Yeah, no, I imagine that. Yeah, that was the case, Rick. It's interesting as we were giving the introduction to Cinch IT, at the beginning of the show, we mentioned that, hiring someone for your organization, I'm thinking like a small business. I mean, they're probably not in the position to hire someone that has an IT background full time, are they? And this is where your service really, it's wonderful, because you don't have to do that, do you?
No, absolutely. It's there's a couple reasons why businesses decide to bring us aboard, and and that's one of them. Sometimes hiring a full-time person is too expensive, and it's just not an option. And so to be able to bring in an organization like Cinch IT that is there for you as much as you need us to be, but it's a lot more, it's an affordable solution. And then, we have other businesses that are large enough to afford maybe that full-time person or an entire department. And what they decide is it still makes sense to bring us in because, we don't take vacation and we don't have sick days as an entire organization. And we have a wealth of knowledge amongst many, many experts. And so it's a good solution for businesses that are growing and for those that are also well established.
I agree. And cybersecurity, that problem is just not going away, is it, Rick? I think it's here to stay, isn't it?
Yep, it gets more and more complicated every day. It certainly does.
It sure does. How do you typically describe, if you're meeting with a prospective franchisee, Rick? If you were at a franchise show and they kind of came up to your booth and they said, "So what do you guys do?" How do you typically describe Cinch IT to let's say a prospective franchisee?
Sure. Well, the first part is I'll give you just the technical term is we are a managed service provider. All that means is we provide computer support to businesses.
Right.
And we do that in a very all-inclusive manner. So we are their help desk. We're their on-site support. We do consulting. We give them cybersecurity software solutions to make sure that they're compliant and that they're secure. Right. The secret sauce for us is that we're actually the only managed service provider franchise in the United States that centralizes the support. So as a potential franchise partner, what they're looking to do is grow their business, go out and network and find new customers. And because we've centralized the service, such as help desk, for example, when their customers in their local market has a computer issue, they don't call our franchise partner. They call us.
Right.
And our help desk here in Worcester, Massachusetts, resolves the issue for them. And as you can probably imagine, most issues can be handled remotely. And so our help desk is handling 80 to 90% of all the franchisees' issues so that they can just focus on growing their business and their top line revenue.
Kind of speaking of the industry itself, Rick, I mean, I don't know if there's any numbers as far as how big your industry actually is, but I mean, I guess it's safe to say it's a pretty big industry, isn't it?
It's a big industry and it's a growing industry. In 2020, was a $152 billion industry, and they're saying by 2026 it's going to be upwards of $275 billion.
That's incredible. It really is amazing. At what point did you know early on, Rick, I mean, that you were going to franchise this concept, or did it just kind of like evolve at some point and you said, I have something here. I have this strong brand. I have this strong system. I'm ready to franchise. At what point did you know?
Yeah, that's a really great question. No, it certainly was not the intention when we first started. I think franchising is a byproduct of our success, to be very honest with you, and our customer success. So we brought on some really great clients. We supported them to the best of our abilities, and they themselves, our customers, saw phenomenal growth. And they started to open up satellite offices across the country. They started to acquire other businesses across the country, and they wanted us to support all of their organizations and all of their offices. And so what happened is in about 2011 to 2019, we started to spread out over 34 states across the United States. And we're flying people all over the place, and we're looking at different models, right? Do we open up satellite offices, and do we try to subcontract for local boots on the ground? And franchising was one of the concepts that we looked at to be able to handle the support nationally. And somebody said it once, and I think it boils it down to its most fundamental values, and it's that in a franchise model, a franchise partner is always going to outperform a company employee because they have skin in the game. It's their baby. It's their business. Right. And I love that. And that to me, that resonated with me. And I said, this is something, I love this model. And the franchise community is fantastic. Really open. They welcome you with open arms. And there's so much education involved. And I was hooked from the very beginning.
That's terrific. That's a great story. What's been, I know you started the company in 2004, Rick, so you probably have like 1,000 different stories, but I mean, what's been one of the most interesting things that's happened to you, since launching the organization? Again, considering there's hundreds of stories.
We definitely have all kinds of stories. We kind of talked about it probably is the work from home environment during this global pandemic has definitely been one of the wildest rides that we've been on.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity, but it was also for us, it was an opportunity to showcase our model and to showcase what we've put in place. Can we handle the increase in volume, when the volume goes up, threefold overnight, and the solutions that we put into place for our customers, will our customers see the value? And I'll give you one statistic that I think answers the question. Mm-hmm. During the pandemic to now, we did not lose one single client.
That's incredible.
Everybody recognized the value that we provided nationally and kept us aboard. We had 2 clients nationally, 2 that we put on a deferral program. And so they went on a deferred payment program to just help them out. But other than that, we did not lose a single client during that time.
That's incredible. That's an amazing statistic. And I'm thinking about, your franchisees, Rick. I mean, what do you look for? What's important to you when considering a new franchisee?
Communication. The ability to communicate effectively and communicate well, I think, is so important. Like I said, the secret of our model is we're centralizing that support. And so, we don't need the brightest, brilliant, IT minds out there as franchise owners. What we really need is business owners that can communicate really, really well, not only with their employees and with us, but with their customers. That's their key to success.
What is the training like, Rick? I mean, I'm sure it changed with COVID and everything like that, but, how does the training typically work, or what will it go back to? I mean, once you take on a new franchisee, would they come to headquarters? Is it remote? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's a mix. It's actually a 12-week training program, so it's a pretty lengthy training program. Yeah. In our space, in the cybersecurity space, there's definitely a lot to go through, and we want to make sure that franchisees are properly trained and poised for success, to be honest with you. So it's a 12-week training program. The first 8 weeks is all remote. So they can do it from the comfort of their own home, to be very honest with you. And then we do bring them up to Massachusetts for 2 weeks for on-site training. They get the opportunity to actually work in a live franchise. So they get to provide support on site. They get to tour server rooms and handle projects with live customers in our training franchise. And same thing, there's they'll actually work on the sales side, and they'll put together assessments for customers and cybersecurity assessments. And there's nothing, in my opinion, nothing better than hands-on training. But we've been able to work with all the COVID regulations to make sure that everybody's safe and protected during that 2-week period of time. And then when they go back, they have coaches that are assigned to them that work with them and talk to them every single week.
And it sounds like, can your franchisees, is it a work-from-home model, Rick? Or do they need like some type of brick-and-mortar type of location, or is this something they could do from home?
Yeah, they absolutely could do it from home. A brick-and-mortar building is not a requirement because we go to customers. Customers don't come to us. There is, as our franchises grow and they start to bring on more and more employees, our larger, more mature franchises, they definitely pull a small office together, but that's more for collaboration and communication with their teams.
That's terrific. How would you describe a typical day for a Cinch IT franchisee, Rick? I imagine that every day is a little bit different, which is what probably makes it very interesting. But how would you describe a typical day for a franchisee?
So it depends on what role that the franchisee is holding. So every one of our franchise partners has a minimum of 2 roles that are required. One is a sales role, and one is a technical role. And as you can imagine, the salesperson is going out and they're trying to bring on new business. And the technician is the boots on the ground if and when there's technical issues that can't be handled remote. So those are the 2 roles. The owner can take either of those roles, and we also have owners that are absentee owners and don't take either of the roles. They hire both. But
I see.
If regardless of what role you have, every morning when you wake up, you log into our ticketing system. And that's where all the requests come, whether it's a sales request or a technical request from a customer. Hey, I need a new computer, or hey, I need help troubleshooting this monitor. So they'll wake up every day, they'll take a look at that system, and they'll find out what needs to be done that day. It might be, hey, they wake up and it says, hey, please send me a quote for a new laptop. The salesperson would do that. Or come on site and troubleshoot this monitor, and the technician would do that. When there are no tickets in the queue, when they wake up in the morning, then they'll go about their normal days. And their normal days from there, if they're a technician, is usually continued education, If there's nothing to do on site, we'll continue my education. If you're the salesperson, it's typical sales prospecting efforts. It might be going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. It might be meeting with some partners, some referral partners, or meeting with existing customers.
You've been doing this a long time now, Rick. So when I have someone on the show like yourself, I have to ask, what advice would you give to our listeners? We call them aspiring franchipreneurs. They're typically people who are interested in going into franchising. Most of them are going into franchising for the first time. And there's so much out there today. It seems like there's like 80 industries, and they say there's something like 3,000 different types of systems. So a lot of our listeners in the beginning, they're so confused. They're like, okay, well, where do I begin? From everything you've learned up to this point, what advice would you give to our listeners then in their quest to buy a franchise?
Choose an industry that you're very passionate about. And I know that sounds a little cheesy, but there's lots of different ways to make money in this world, right? There truly is. Like you said, there's a franchise model for just about anything you want to do. So find something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing, something that you would wake up and do even if you weren't making money, because you know what? That's ultimately what's going to make you happy and excited to get up every single day. You know, as far as choosing a franchise system to be part of, you know, I think people should really dive in and understand the support structure behind everyone, right? Yeah. Just like you want to be very valuable for your customers in whatever you offer them, whether it's IT support or a fantastic burger or whatever that product is. You want to provide value, and you want your franchisor should also provide you with a ton of value. So dig into that support structure and understand exactly what you're getting and the level of support that they're offering, because there is a lot of support in the franchise community.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I think that's a great response, Rick. So if you could look into a crystal ball, Rick, I mean, maybe 3 years, 5 years down the road, I mean, where do you see Cinch IT in the future?
I think we'd like to have Cinch IT locations in all the major cities along the East Coast, working our way west. So right now we're as far west as Utah. But we have many cities, major cities that we want to be part of. Right now, we're really focused on the northern Texas area. I lived in San Antonio for a while. I love the Texas market, and we're looking at the northern Texas market right now. But to be honest with you, the long-term plan isn't necessarily strategic growth into any one market. It's actually to focus on our existing franchisees. You know, I think that if we focus on them and we help them grow phenomenal businesses that are outrageously profitable and help them accomplish whatever their goals are in life, I think that helps everything grow, right? That will help us find the right franchise partners in the future. It will make happy franchisees, make happy employees here at the headquarters, and so that's our focus, is the existing franchisees and just making sure they have phenomenal businesses.
What's the best way, Rick, for our listeners to get more information on Cinch IT? Of course, there's the franchise opportunity, but even the service itself. Are there any websites you can kind of direct them to?
Yeah, absolutely. So cinchit.com is the best way to start. You'll learn all about our actual services, and there is a link to the franchise opportunity right on that page as well. So cinchit.com.
That's terrific. Well, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed talking to you today, Rick, and I'd already like to invite you back over the next year or two as you continue to grow, because I think this is a wonderful franchise opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks again for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
This has been my pleasure, Rick. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews. Coming up on segment 2, you're going to hear what every franchipreneur needs to know before buying a franchise. We're going to play a clip from our popular Great Quotes in Franchising podcast right here on Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews, an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Hi, everyone. This is Marty McDermott, the president of Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, we've been hosting Franchise Interviews many years now, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on our show. Today's great quote in franchising comes from Tom Kraus, the CEO of Donato's Pizza. And Donato's is a family-owned, privately held company that treats franchise partners like they're part of their family. In this Great Quote in Franchising podcast, Tom discusses the importance of directing your energy to the right place, and he uses a great analogy called batteries not included. So let's go right into our podcast with Tom Kraus, CEO of Donato's Pizza. What advice would you give them in their quest to buy a franchise?
You know, I think the the whole key is putting the right resources in the right spot. So I'll use a quote from one of my old bosses at Wendy's, Jim Neer, who he always talked about batteries not included. And what he meant by that was, you know, if you're going to be a franchisee or a franchise partner, as we call them, you're buying into a system that exists. So don't put your energy trying to change the system or change the recipe or like work that side of the system. Put your energy in bringing your whole self into the business. Bring your energy into leading your people. Bring the energy into building the business in the community or giving back to the community. I've noticed those that are less successful don't put their energy into that, but they're trying to revise something that already is a part of the operating plan that, you know, maybe it's not perfect, but if you're spending your time trying to change the recipe or the operating system, maybe franchising isn't what you want to do. Maybe you want to start your own restaurant. And so I think the key, but more importantly, I think is batteries aren't included. So put your whole energy into building a culture within the organization and building a reputation in the community. That's where you'll win every time. You'll win every time.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. I love that analogy, batteries not included. It's about trust, isn't it, Tom? You know, I mean, if you're going to invest into a system, you know, like Donato's, is you have to have that level of trust, don't you? You know, in order to.
Yeah, you really do. And you know, it's not to say that, you know, we really do a lot of collaborating with our franchise system. We have an advisory council, and we meet regularly, and we get advice from them, and they help guide the business. But once we've decided, you know, what the program is or whatever, let's go ahead and just execute that program. So
Right. Absolutely. That's fantastic. If you'd like to hear that whole interview with Tom Krause of Donato's Pizza, all you have to do is go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to our franchises listed alphabetically page, and then go to the D section. Or you can go to our franchises listed by category page and go to our food section. And lastly, we'd just like to thank everyone for making our Great Quotes in Franchising podcast such a big hit. Since we've launched our Great Quotes in Franchising podcast, we've had 72,671 downloads, 37,888 RSS clicks, and 727 shared links. So once again, we'd just like to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising from Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Discover a career that matters at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Be part of an innovative team delivering world-class healthcare and benefits to America's veterans. Enjoy robust benefits, work-life balance, and career development opportunities. Join a diverse and inclusive community that values your unique background and skills. A community where nearly 1 in 3 of your colleagues are veterans themselves. Apply now at vacareers.va.gov.
Why do most companies' surprises never work out in your favor? Instead, they usually add hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to your bill. At Jack Lair Heating, Cooling, and Electric, our no surprise guarantee means if we miss something and don't tell you prior to our agreement, we'll correct it at no cost to you. For emergency service, system maintenance, or to schedule an estimate for a new HVAC system, visit jacklair.com. That's JackLEHR.com, an independent train dealer serving the Lehigh Valley area for 50 years.